If you ever ship a product internationally, at some point, someone's gonna ask you, what about customs value or declared value? Well, today, I'm gonna show you exactly what you need to know about that so you can import products.
All right, 1, 2, 3, go.
So there's a funny story. Today we're using pineapples as an illustration. And when I have a trainer, he's teaching me, he's doing physical therapy and a lot of different stuff to help my back and my posture when I'm working out. And a lot of it's painful. So when there's something that's so painful I can't stand it, I have to shout, pineapples! It's the safe word.
Pineapples. I don't want to do pineapples!
Well, today we're talking about pineapples, and I hope that you guys enjoy it.
Is it really pineapple?
It really is pineapples. Ask him. Ask Renee. They watched a movie a long time ago, and there's this guy that his safe word is pineapples. So he said, Seth, if it's hurting too much, I want you to yell pineapple. So I'm on the gym, laying on the floor. He's pushing a dumbbell into my chest, and my legs are like squirming. And all of a sudden, I'm like, pineapples! And everyone in the gym was like, what's going on over there? When you import the product into the US to sell it on Amazon or anywhere else, you have to give them your declared value. What is the declared value for goods that you are importing into the US? Now, there's a lot of terms you're gonna hear, they're all the same thing. Declared value, customs value, commercial in-course value, declared customs value. It gets a little confusing. They're all referring to the same thing. It's like saying, hey, customs, here's my product. Let's just say you're importing pineapples. Here's my product, and the value is this. And it's important that that value is accurate, otherwise you could get in trouble with US federal law, and I wanna protect you from getting in trouble with US federal law. So what happens with declared value when I ship my products from another country into the US? Your freight forwarder is going to generate what's called a customs declaration or a commercial invoice, it's the same thing, and it's gonna serve multiple purposes. Now, the main purpose is that commercial invoice is a formal request of payment from the supplier to you, the buyer. Therefore, on that form, you have to write your declared value, and the customs is gonna look at that to determine how much you have to pay in customs fees based on the tariffs, based on Trump, based on the US, you get the idea? So it has to be accurate. But what do I put on the commercial invoice when it comes to value? The actual value of the goods you are importing into the US. Your next product, it's a pineapple. You're trying to get these into the US. You wanna sell these on Amazon, you wanna sell them on Shopify, wherever it is. You're saying, Seth, how do I get these into the US? What do I do with declaration value? The actual value of the product is the customs or commercial or declared value. Today, for example, we have to get 10 pineapples into the US. And each of these costs $10. Now, the $10 is not based on the country where you're importing it from, let's say Costa Rica, because they're very well known for their pineapples and they're amazing. It's based on the cost of the goods that you paid. In other words, the value to you. So you're gonna import these, 10 of them, each of them costs $10, therefore the declared value is gonna say 100 USD. That's how you know, simple as that. But what do I do when the supplier says, Seth, I can make the declared value a little lower, which means you'll be under the customs value limit, which means you don't have to pay the tariff tax. Now, I have to be totally honest here. Way back in the day, I did this. I am guilty of it. And truly, I was ignorant. I didn't know that this was such a big deal. Don't do it, you guys. Don't. They'll come to your house. Especially with the new tariff laws, with the US over here and China over here, and they're doing this a little bit, what's happening is as these products come through Chinese customs, they're checking them more often. And as they come through US customs, they're checking them more often, which means the chances of them finding out that you miscalculated the value could actually get you in prison or at least up to a lot of fines. So don't do it. Plus, you could have your opportunity to import products into the US permanently removed if you did that. So again, just make sure you are doing it accurately when you say this is the declared value. That's what you're putting on the commercial invoice. What is the purpose of the customs value? It informs the patrol who are standing there on the border when they receive your pineapples, it tells them how much to charge you for the customs, like the tariff. And if they don't know that value, they don't know what slot to put you in to charge you accurately. Now, this is why it's so important you know your profit, your COGS, your costs. This is something we teach the members, but that's for members only. How much do I write as the commercial or declared, same thing, value for the goods? Very simple. The exact value of the goods you're importing themselves. Usually the supplier is going to write it down for you, and they will determine the value, or they'll suggest a value. But you gotta remember, you are the person who's taking the risk. In other words, if someone gets in trouble for this, it is not the supplier, it's not the Chinese government, it's not the US government, it's you, my friend, you and your pineapples. So,
What are you laughing about?
I'm not saying. It just sounds funny. I should make the title of it, you and your pineapples. So it's very important that you tell your supplier what it is. Some suppliers get pushy if they sense that you're new or you're novice, you're not used to this, and they will put a declared value for you. Don't do it. Tell them what it is, and it's exactly what you paid for it. However, don't include the shipping cost in the declared value. That is irrelevant. It's just the actual cost of the good that you're importing into the US. Do you like that?
You are rolling those today. Is there a reason?
I have no idea, my
Like
friend.
You've never done it.
What happens when your freight forwarder says, we need you to write the declared value of the goods on this commercial invoice for insurance? This is different. The insurance, when you're doing the shipping form, it is different declared value than the declared value of the goods for customs. And this is where a lot of people get confused. Let me explain. If you want your products to be protected just in case, let's say it's on the boat and the boat sinks, and because pineapples and seawater don't mix very well, no one's gonna be diving for your pineapples to save them, you need to recover the costs of the pineapples. But you're actually going to declare a higher value than the pineapples themselves. So if you have 10 pineapples and each are $10, instead of saying $100 for the insurance, you're gonna say maybe 120, because you're not just recovering the cost of the good, but the cost of getting the good. Think about the time you spent talking to the supplier, negotiating, finding them. All of that is a cost. This is important as a businessman, businesswoman. You need to know your assets, and time is one that is so precious because you'll never get a refund on it. So just make sure when you put down the declared value for the insurance, it's a higher number than the one you put on the commercial invoice for customs. Now, some people are like, Seth, I'm not gonna spend the extra money on insurance. Well, let me just tell you a little story.
Story time.
A little story about a little Amazon seller a long time ago, shipping their products, let's say they're pineapples, because I'm not gonna tell you their product, and the ship sinks. Let's just say there's 100 people shipping products that are on that ship. When the ship goes down, if the ship costs $100, each person has to pay $1 of the recuperation. We're talking about not just trying to save people who are on the ship, but the helicopters, the safety people, everyone going out to recover this, that cost is on you, my friend. But when you have insurance, not only can you get your goods back, but the damage done to the ship is no longer on your shoulders, it is on the insurance company's shoulders. So again, when you put down the value for insurance, make it higher than the actual cost. When you put down the declared value for your commercial invoice for customs, make sure it is the exact cost, but it doesn't include the shipping costs. And of course, it doesn't include the customs because that's what you're paying it based off of anyways. So make sure when you put down the declared value for insurance, it's gonna be higher to recover the cost of getting the goods, not just the cost of them. But when you put down the declared value of the goods for customs, that goes on the commercial invoice, it's based on the cost of the goods, not the shipping and not the customs, because the customs is based on the value of the pineapples, and I know you love pineapples. If you're shipping products, I know there's a reason you're doing this. You're doing this because you're building a business. You're doing this because you're trying to do something to make more money, to create more margin. And that's who we are, that's who I am. I just want to encourage you for a minute. I started with a single dime. I knew nothing about customs. I knew nothing about declared value. I didn't know what a commercial invoice was. I had to call a ton of people to get the right customs agent to figure all this out. Now I've been doing it for years. And it's created margin for me to do the things I love with the people that I love. And it can do the same for you. I just encourage you, take what you're learning about pineapples, and go out and build this business in a way that allows it to scale. What I mean by scale is you don't feel like you're constantly hustling back and forth and straining and struggling and fighting and wondering and feel like you're losing, winning. Instead, you have this machine over here called Amazon, and it's set up so well that it's generating income for you. And that income allows you to actually make money while you're sleeping. It allows you to take your family to dinner, not worry about the bill. It allows you to travel the world. That is what we do. We teach people how to build freaking passive income machines, and that is my hope and prayer for you. Let the pineapples work for you. One more thing. If you found value today, I have 3 simple requests. Click the subscribe button, comment below it was helpful, and check out the link. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but check it out below. I think you're gonna like it.